Now we will see how we can parse a sample sentence using augmented grammar using the table introduced earlier. So as a first step, you have to write the sentence in the bottommost row, right, word by word in each column. So once that is done, what you need to do next is you have to look up the lexicon. Alright, you might be remembering this lexicon entry. It was already shared with you from the textbook Natural Language Understanding by James Allen, that is figure 4.6. A sample lexicon is given. So from this lexicon, you have to take out the entries for each of these words. Okay, you can directly write those entries which are directly given, but suppose that for some words like this once, if a lexicon entry is not directly given, only the base form is given, what you need to do is that is already we have lexical rules for generating the inflection forms, right? So using these lexical rules, you have to find out what the constituent for that particular word will be. So in the case of our once, if you would remember, once we go through all these rules and the lexicon, you will find up with the first rule. You will end up with the first rule, and the left hand side of the first rule will generate the constituent for once. So that is lexical constituent of one, and we will write it here. Okay, then so all other for all other words, these lexicon entries are written. So if you see the case of he, it is a pronoun with AGR feature 3s, and once it is finally present tense form, verb present tense with AGR feature 3s, and subcategorization values, these things, right? That can be part of, it can have a subcategorization of a noun phrase, or it can have an infinitive with verb phrase, or it can have noun phrase and verb phrase bounded by infinitive. Then the case of two is an infinitive. Okay, and now other entries are present. And for cry is a base form of verb, and it has no subcategorization information. So these are the things that we derive from the lexicon as well as from the lexical rules. So once we are done, we will start with the bottom up parsing technique for each of the words, right? So you remember the bottom up parsing technique, and in that parsing technique we will see the right hand side of each production of the grammar to find a match for our constituent from the word, right? So currently our constituents are these, right, the things that we got from the lexicon for each word. So we are going to see whether we can get a match for all these constituents, that is the lexicon entries for each words in the right hand side of any production. So which grammar are we going to consider? So it is the simplified grammar. So you might be remembering the simplified grammar, right? And that is the grammar shown in figure grammar 4.7 from your textbook. So the specialty of this grammar is this is simplified in notation, right? And you might be remembering the terminologies we introduced to simplify this grammar. That is, we will have a mother part for each production, right? In case of production 1, S is the mother. Then we will have head constituent for the right hand side of the production. And if you see here, the italicized part is your head constituent, and in this case it is VP. For rule 1, it is VP. So what is meant by a head constituent? What is head constituent? Head constituent means the constituent which shares some features with mother, right? So if you see the case of S and VP, they share some constituents together. And what are these constituents? Those constituents are known as not constituents, features. Those features are known as head features. So here it means that S and VP, even though they are not explicitly listed with these features, they will share these features with common values. So it means that whatever AGR as well as V form values VP takes over here, that will also be taken up by S over here. Okay, so these things you might be remembering. Okay, that we will be using now. So with that introduction, we will just see how we can go through these parts. So we have he, or we have a pronoun here. So first of all, we need to find a rule from the grammar that has a pronoun on the right. Okay, so if you look through all these rules, we have rule number 3, right? This one has a pronoun on the right. So we will use this rule to write out a production. So we did write that rule, right? We are using rule number 3 to write out that production itself here. So we are filling with we are filling or instantiating the feature values on the right hand side of production 3 with the entry that we got from the lexicon. Okay, so if you see the case of this pronoun, the AGR value that we got from lexicon was 3s. So in the case of rule number 3, what all things are shared between these two, between NP and pronoun? Between NP and pronoun, AGR value is shared, right? Because NP is mother, pronoun is italicized or your head constituent, so they have common AGR feature which is not shown here. Okay, so AGR will be present in NP as well as AGR will be present in pronoun. Okay, so we are going to instantiate those two AGR features with the value we got from the lexicon, right? So here the value that we got is 3s. So 3s is the AGR value given on the right hand side of the production and left hand side of the production, as they both share, okay, being mother and head constituent. Then, as in the case of your bottom up chart based parsing, once we have encountered a matching right hand side part, okay, that processed part is indicated by a dot just following that part, right? So this dot is immediately placed after the pronoun part of the right hand side of the production. And coincidentally, this rule or this production is now exhausted, nothing else to proceed with. So this rule matching has been complete, so we will indicate that using a green. Okay, so with respect to he, this matching has been complete, right? So we will generate a constituent from this match, and the constituent is the left hand side of the production numbered 3, right? And if you see the constituent, it is a noun phrase. We will name it as NP1. And what is its feature values? It has only one feature, AGR, so AGR is 3s. So that is the constituent we generated for he. Okay, it is a noun phrase with AGR 3s. Now we will move to the next word in our sentence. So it is wants. So if you see the lexicon entry, we need to look up for a verb form, and it should be in present tense and AGR 3s, and it should fall in any of these subcategorization forms. Okay, so what we will do is we will look for a present tense verb form in our grammar set. Okay, we are going to look for a present tense verb form. So if you look at here, what should we have? We should get a, for once, what should we have? For once, we should get a verb, right? We should get a verb. So when we are going through this rule set, the first rule that we have with the verb on the right side is this one. Okay, so as in the normal logic of a bottom up chart based parsing, the first rule that matches is taken and then analyzed. So we are going to take this rule and analyze. So before proceeding, we will see what is a mother and head constituent. So it is VP. VP is a mother and head constituent is your verb, and we will see what they share. And they share these features, right? V form and AGR. So none of them are written here. So we should remember that V form and AGR should be instantiated from the lexicon entry that we got for wants. Okay, we will see that now. So if you see here, we have V form and AGR values for wants, right? We are going to instantiate it on the right side of the production. So V form is written as present tense, then AGR value is written as 3s. Then okay, so but the problem is we can't match this rule. Why? Because if you see in this case, there is a subcategorization restriction for wants, right? It can either take up NP or VP infinitive or NP VP infinitive. So definitely we can't take which rule? Rule number 4. Okay, so rule number 4 is summarily rejected. So we should look up for the next rule. So what is the next rule? With this with a verb phrase on the right, it is your rule number 6. Not rule number 6, it is your rule number 5. Okay, so if you see rule number 5, we have a verb phrase on the right with a NP restriction, or subcategorization value is NP, right? So this is a plausible rule. So we will see that. So that rule is written here, and again the right hand side of that rule is instantiated with the lexicon entry of ones. So we will write the vform value is present and subcategorization value is underscore np and agr is 3s. And note that rule has got two parts on the right, a verb part and a noun phrase part, right? So we are just now we have now just now matched only the verb part, so we have to put a dot after the verb part, right? A dot should be put, so that is put here, and we have a noun phrase yet to match. So that was the case of ones. In the case of ones, we got the lexicon entries. Then we went to scan for the grammar from the database, and we found a verb part, right, for rule number 4, but unfortunately subcategorization mismatch was there, so we went for rule 5, and we got a rule that could be used. Then we will see what happens next. Then the thing is, we will just stop here for once. Then because in order to proceed with this rule, that is the rule for once, that is rule number 5, we need a noun phrase in the next section, that is from the next section, that is to cry should actually match with noun phrase, so we have to process to and cry, so we are going to process to now. Okay, so this is the lexicon entry that we got for to, and you see that the categorization is to itself. So from the grammar set we need to find a rule that has to on the right. Okay, so we are searching for a rule, and we see a rule numbered 9. Okay, so this rule is a prospective match which we can use. So this rule, that is rule number 9, is taken. So before taking that rule, we are going to analyze which is the mother and which is the head constituent. The mother is this VP, and the head constituent here is 2. So what are the things that they are going to share? They are going to share vform and agr features, okay, which are not given here explicitly. And one more thing is the vform value of VP on the left is restricted by infinitive. Okay, so obviously this vform of 2 is also infinitive, and the next part of the rule, that is VP, is restricted as a base form. Okay, the verb form is base form, so those restrictions are in place. So we are going to see how this rule performs for 2. So this rule is written, and we are going to instantiate the right hand side of this rule with the lexicon entry that we got for 2. Okay, so this is now instantiated. So what is instantiated? So once this is see the categorization information is only available, but that is not required here. And you should remember that what all things are shared by VP and 2. It shares vform and agr. So vform value is written here, and we have already seen that the VP on the left has a restriction of infinitive, so that also confirms here, as they are both sharing vform. But agr feature is not there for left side as well as the right side. Why? Because the agr for 2 is not defined, right? So left side, that is your mother, won't also take up that value, so agr feature is not explicitly shown. And as we have processed 2, we will put a dot just after 2. Okay, now to move forward with rule number 9, we need a verb phrase with a base restriction, base form of verb on the right. Okay, which we need to see whether we can get it from the next part of the sentence. Okay, so we are now going for the cry part. So this is the lexicon entry for cry, and we need to find a rule that perfectly matches this lexicon entry on the right side of the production, right? So if you see here, we have to look for a V, right, with subcategorization none. Okay, so we are looking for a V with no subcategorization. So if you see here, we have to look for a V with no subcategorization, so that is your rule number 4. So this is a prospective match. And again, we are going to analyze the mother and head constituent. Here mother is VP and head constituent is your V. So what are the features they are going to share? They are going to share vform and agr. So vform and agr will be available as same values to both these things, even though it is not explicitly shown. And here the verb on the right is restricted with a none, no form as vform. Okay, So we are just going to instantiate the lexicon entry that we got for cry with the right hand side of the production. So what all things we can instantiate? We can instantiate the right hand side of the production with subcat value as well as vform, right? Those things are the things, those subcat, vform and agr. Okay, so as agr feature, agr value is not available for cry, we are not instantiating it on the right as well as on the left, but subcat is available. So the subcat value is written, right? Subcat value is written on the right, and the vform value is base, and that is also written for v, right? So vform value is base, as is written for v, and that vform value is also shared by vp. And this rule has only one entity on the right side, so the match with this v actually terminates this rule. So a constant is generated from this rule, which happens to be the left hand side of this rule, right? So the left hand side of this rule is vp constituent, right? So we will name it as vp1, and we know that by instantiating the right hand side, we got the vform values base, and they actually share this vform value, so that vform value is returned for this constituent also. And again, subcategorization information is also generated, right? So subcategorization is done. Okay, so we got a vp1 or a verb phrase with a verb phrase with a vform value base on the right, or here, and we desperately needed that to proceed with rule number 9. In the previous case, we need a vp constrained by a base, so we obviously have it here, and we will substitute it here. So what will happen when we substitute it here? We can move the dot one place to the right, okay, and we will instantiate all these values in the vp part here. So once we instantiate all these values, what will we have? We will have vform as base and subcategorization value is none, okay, and this left side is already ready. So we have a new constituent generated from this match rule match, that is, as we had completed 4 and we had generated a constituent here, that constituent is substituted in the vp section of rule number 9, which was on the process of getting matched, and in the vp section is instantiated, right, and then it completes the right hand side part of rule number 9. So the left hand side part of rule number 9 is obtained as a new constituent, and that new constituent is a verb phrase, and we will name it as vp2 with a vform value as infinitive. Okay, now we will see whether the thing that we got from here can help us in proceeding with rule number 5, which we left halfway, right? So if you see here, in case of rule number 5, we need an NP, not a VP, but there is no chance of getting an NP from any of the right hand side sections. Alright, so we should think whether it was actually rule number 5 that we required here or some other rule. Okay, so we are going to see whether any other rule can get us to proceed further. Okay, so what was that rule? That rule was we required a verb form on the right. Okay, and the subcategorization restriction was either NP or VP with infinitive or NP VP with infinitive. So the restriction with NP didn't work, right? So we will just see whether other two restrictions can help us with a better rule. So we are going to see the other two restrictions, that is VP infinitive or NP VP infinitive. Let's select this one. Okay, that is VP infinitive. Okay, this rule. So let us analyze this rule before we use that rule. So in this rule, the mother is VP on the left. Then what is the head constant? The head constant is this verb, right? This verb on the right. So what all things will they share? They will share these two features, vform and agr. Again, vform and agr are not written there explicitly, so we have to understand that instantiation of this verb on the right with the vform and agr will also create similar values on the left. Okay, so we are going to use this rule anyway. So we are actually stopping our proceedings with rule number 5, and we are going to use rule number 6. Okay, so we have a v, right? We have a v with v form as present, agr as 3s. Okay, so we are going to instantiate that v form as present tense and agr as 3s, and we will put a dot after the v. And the next thing we need to only see is we need to get a verb form or a verb phrase with infinitive. So luckily we have a verb phrase with v form as infinitive just on the right. Okay, so it means that this rule is an exact fit, and we can proceed further with this rule by substituting the constituent that we got from rule number 9 on the right here. Okay, so we just needed a vp with infinitive, right? We got it from the right, we are substituting it here, and the dot moves towards the end, and we have got a perfect match on the right. Okay, so we have instantiated this vp v form infinitive with a vp2 v form infinitive. So there's a perfect match for rule number 6 on the right side. So for this section, the constituent generated is the left side section of the production. So what is the constituent generated? Again, it is a verb phrase, and we will name it as vp3. Okay, and its feature values are present for v form and 3s for agr. Okay, so that's done. Now we will see whether all the constants generated on the right can help us with concluding whether this is a proper sentence. Okay, so we already got a np noun phrase for he. Then we have a vp3, right, which actually covers all other verb phrases on the right. vp3, if you see here, covers vp2, right? vp2, if you see here, it covers vp1. So vp3 actually covers this entire right hand side, right? vp3 covers wants to cry. Okay, and np1 covers he. So we have np1 and vp3, and we need to find out whether any rule with this structure is present on our grammar. Okay, so we are beginning our search here. We need an np and vp, right? Okay, we have a rule, that is rule number 1 with np and vp on the right. Okay, and here if you see on the right, for vp there is a subcategorization restriction. It is not subcategorization, it is a verb form restriction. Okay, it has to be either present tense or it has to be either a past tense. So we will see whether what we have got will match that. So we will see vp3, it is present tense, so it is an obvious match. Okay, so this looks like a prospective rule for us, and we will again see the mother and head constituent on this rule, that is rule number 1. If you see here, the mother is s, this is your mother, and the head constituent is vp. We will see what all things they will share, and they will share v form and agr, even though it is not written there explicitly. So whatever v form and agr values it is instantiated for this vp on the right will be taken up by this s on the left. Okay, so so that is to be kept in mind, and we are going to use the rule for concluding our sentence. So we are going to write down this rule. So for this rule we are instantiating vp with vp3. Okay, so v form is given as present tense and agr is 3s. Okay, so note that for this rule this agr value, that is agr value of vp, should match with np. Okay, because they are having the same variables written over here, right? np is having a, and agr over here is also having an a. So we got that the vp part has an agr 3s. Now we have to see whether np also has 3s. Yes, np also has 3s, so this part is perfect. The right side is a perfect match. So the left side, so we will indicate that using a dot, and we have got the left side as a perfect constituent. So we will see what the left side has. The left side has v form value is present tense, right? Why? Because it was a head feature, and agr as 3s because again it was a head feature. So we have a sentence with sentence in present tense form and in third person singular. Okay, and again this is an inverted and the inversion feature is negative, which was already set for this production. So this is how we will use augmented grammar to do a sample parts.